Good evening, my friend. Welcome to WDW Radio Live. I am your host and your friend, Lou Mangello. It is Wednesday night, my favorite night of the week. Thank you so much for being here. If you're watching live, sit back, relax, grab a snack. We're going to have some fun. Do me a favor, tag and invite a friend to watch and play. We're going to try something new tonight. And if you're watching on the replay, don't forget to join us here every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern at WDWRadioLive.com. And we're gonna try something a little bit new tonight. It has been a little bit of a wild ride this past week. I was supposed to be live last week. Life got in the way, and next thing I knew, I was on an airplane. And today was my daughter's graduation. I was supposed to be out in the parks, and then God and the weather had other plans. It is lightning and thundering out, so a little bit of scrambling, but sometimes necessity is the mother of invention. We had such a good time playing Walt Disney World Trivia last time with this new interactive format, and tonight we're going to sort of beta test a different way to play where you don't need to be 100% correct to win. So I'll just tease you with that. If you are new, if you're watching for the first time, please do me a favor, let me know in the comments. Tell me where you're from. Chef Bob, I see, is in the house. It's the second time today I've seen Chef Bob. Where else would my daughter want to go for her celebratory graduation lunch but Boathouse? Bob, you beat me to the punch. Thank you so much. You always make me and my family and my friends feel like we are at home at the Boathouse, because I really do believe that we are. And you made a very special day even more special. And fortunately, I cried a lot less at the Boathouse than I did at the graduation this morning. It's fine. If you've known me for a long time, if we've been friends for a long time, you've basically watched my kids grow up. You sort of like followed me on this journey of my kids growing up, how we got to, the little girl. I'm going to cry again. The little girl in the princess dress to the not so little girl walking down the aisle. Please don't rush that. I felt that one in my heart. But walking down sort of the processional line in her robe and with her tassels, and me being the very, very proud father. She's also switched schools in the past week. It's been a lot. It has been a lot. So it looks like we got interrupted. I thought the stream had died, but hopefully, maybe we are back on and I didn't lose everyone along the way. I don't even know at what part of my ridiculous story. I know where I was. Wait, I know exactly where I was. Wait, hold on a second. I was about to show you, if I can find it. I was going to show you. Hold it. Talk amongst yourselves. You can see how not prepared I was to talk about this. Am I really not going to be able to find it? I'm really not going to be able to find it. Maybe I won't. Well, I didn't find what I was looking for, but we will do this anyway. I was saying, I said something about Becky. I was going to go into some sort of thanking Becky for all your vacation planning needs and all kinds of stuff. And then I was like, wait a minute. I thought about Becky. She's here, like, in the box. I'm going to see her next week. Not only am I going to see her and spend a bunch of wonderful days with her, but she's going to join me for something very special that I'm going to bring to you as well, in both live format and podcast format. And if you haven't seen it as yet, this is not the graphic that I was hoping for, but it will work. We are going to be part of Star Wars Celebration 2022, and we'll be recording live from the podcast stage at Celebration at the Anaheim Convention Center on Sunday, May 29th, 2022 at 11 a.m. ish. if you're going to be at Star Wars Celebration, please, please, please come by. You can maybe be part of the broadcast. I might have some fun giveaways as well. And just cannot wait to be at Star Wars Celebration with Becky, with my son Nicholas, and maybe one or two other special guests. And we're going to talk about sharing and creating your own Star Wars story in the Disney parks. We're going to talk about everything from Star Tours to Galaxy's Edge to probably at least 3 or 4 or 7 different food items. And of course, the Galactic Star Cruiser, Savi's Workshop, what was, what is, and what may be coming in the future. The Void, may you rest in peace. Victim of COVID, which was actually something really cool. So we're going to talk about creating your own Star Wars story in the Disney parks. If you're going to be there, please, please, please show up. I don't want to talk to an empty room because it would really be awkward. So again, Sunday, May 29th, and we are going to record it and obviously play that episode on the podcast. So if you miss it live, don't sweat it because it will be part of the show. Marla Chan is in Disney Springs. DCA means Cozy Cone time. I'm going for Star Wars Celebration. I'm staying for Cozy Cones. I'm going to miss Moon Knight, which I'm bummed about. But I'm going for Star Wars Celebration. I'm staying for Cozy Cones, the Pym Test Kitchen, Avengers Campus, and Spider-Man, among other meals that I haven't gotten to as yet. So again, when I say that I was sort of scrambling to get tonight's show ready, I really was. But what I do want to do is get right into the trivia this week. And oh, by the way, apologies for no show this week again. Between my schedule, I had a guest scheduled. This person had to reschedule. We couldn't sort of get it lined up, and it's just been chaotic. And also, don't forget, by the way, too, I'll be live from MegaCon starting probably tomorrow. So turn on notifications on the WDW Radio page. Yes, Louis, we're going to talk about things like, maybe next week, we're going to talk about things like She-Hulk. I want to do my full Doctor Strange spoilerific review. So if you haven't seen Multiverse of Madness, go see it so you can be part of the conversation next week. And some of the other things that are coming up in not just the Marvel Universe, but in the Star Wars universe as well. Lots and lots of fun stuff. And Emily says, I need to get to Disneyland one of these days. Don't worry, Emily. I'm going to bring you with us, to and through Disneyland while we are there. We'll be at Star Wars Celebration a lot during the day. Got some cool Disneyland and some Star Wars stuff at night that I'm going to bring you along with me. Becky doesn't even know about some of the cool. It's not even up on the whiteboard. It's up on the whiteboard in my mind and my email, both of which are places that Becky, thankfully, thank you, sweet baby Jesus, does not have access to. Becky's never been to MegaCon. I'm going to take you with me to MegaCon. I'll be live either late tomorrow, like late afternoon, early evening, and or Friday, Saturday. I'm going to see, usually Thursday for me is sort of like my preliminary, like scoping out the area, seeing what's what, maybe lining up some folks to come on the live show and chat. And of course, getting an early look at all of the vendors and booths to try and get the cool stuff before somebody else does. Although I'm trying to purge, it doesn't matter. I get caught up in the hype. Whatever. We move on. MegaCon is the craziest thing I've ever seen, says Katie McNamara. It is until you go to places like New York Comic-Con, and then I was hoping to get out to San Diego. I still might get out to San Diego Comic-Con this year. So we'll see. We'll see what the future has in store. But tonight, please bring Becky a fanny pack so she can embrace the most important accessory when touring the parks. Dan, if I could get Becky to wear a fanny pack, I would buy her a fanny pack. But I don't think either of those two things are going to happen. So, okay, let's do this. We're going to, a few weeks ago, I tested something out that really allowed me and us to go back to where it all began. My roots in all of this really started with and by and through my first Walt Disney World Trivia book. It was my fascination with the details and the minutia that sort of was the genesis of the idea of the book, The book led to the site led to the podcast led to the live video. Fast forward 17 years, here we are. So I wanted to find a way to do something more. We've done 20 questions on the show. We've done listener factor fiction, which I need to I need to do somebody remind me. I need to do listener factor fiction on the show again, if you like that. Do you like listener factor fiction? And if so, maybe I will select some folks from the WDW Radio Nation to join me on that. It's been years probably since I've done factor fiction on the show, but I really want to do more on the live show. We've done 20 questions. Those are a lot of fun. It gets a little wonderfully chaotic. And so a few weeks ago, we did a multiple choice trivia question, which was fun. And I love sort of the whole scoring system. And tonight we're going to sort of beta test something new where you don't have to be 100% right in order to play and potentially win. And who knows, if this works, maybe I'll give a prize to the winner. Again, you're my beta testers. So let me see if I can get this thing started and get this working correctly. So hold on one second. Let's do this and let's move over. The closest guess quiz game where, like I said, you don't need to get the question right. I'm going to ask you a series of multiple choice questions. All you need to do is type in the numerical answer. No other text will be counted. So if I ask you for a year, type in the year. If I ask you for a number, type in the number. No periods, no commas, no nothing. It's counting down faster than I thought, so it doesn't matter. We're going to get right into it. Type your answer into the comments. Tell me, what year did the Enchanted Tiki Room, this is why I love my video, what year did the Enchanted Tiki Room, under new management, open in Magic Kingdom, in Adventureland, with rest in peace, Gilbert Gottfried? Just type the number in the comments to your answer. We'll see if this works as well as I hope. I mean, I literally set this up like 5 minutes before we went live because the day got away from me very, very quickly. What year did the Enchanted Tiki Room under new management opened? The computers are tallying all of your answers. The correct answer, of course, was 1998. Much to the joy / chagrin of a lot of people. And so it looks like I've never done this before. So let's see how it actually. The correct answer was 1998. It looks like a lot of people got 1998. So you are quick on the Google. Again, the music is way too loud. You can't hear. I didn't realize. Oh boy. All right. Sorry about that. Try again. This is what happens with live video. How many artificial leaves are there on the Swiss Family Treehouse? Again, all you need to do is comment the number to answer. Sorry about the music. I didn't realize that it kicked it on in the background. About how many artificial leaves are there on the Swiss Family Treehouse? No periods, no commas, just the number of how many artificial leaves you think there are. Again, this is the fun of live video. We'll continue to tweak this as we go on. This is sort of the practice guinea pig round. So when the Swiss Family Treehouse was built in 1971, there are about 300,000 handmade, hand-painted artificial leaves on the Swiss Family Treehouse. A lot of you seem to have got this one correct, or at least guessed, or Google. I think I'm leaving too much time because you can Google and guess, which is not what we want to do. I really want to test how well you knew the Walt Disney World Trivia book published in 2004 by the Intrepid Traveler, wherever you may be. Sally and Kelly, I wouldn't be here without you. Okay, how many different flying carpet vehicles are there on the magic carpet of Aladdin? Again, just the number. So you've got sort of that's this way. It goes clockwise. Magic carpets are Aladdin. How many magic carpet vehicles are there? I know this goes by super fast and there's a little bit of a delay. So how many so if you're saying 300,000, you're way off. But how many magic carpet vehicles are there on the magic carpet? So sometimes we get confused because Dumbo is different. Magic Carpet of Aladdin is different. Triceratops Spin in what little time it probably has left, has a different number. How many flying carpets are there? There are 16. And there's actually 6. When Dumbo first opened back in 1971, it had 10. Disney realized years later we need way more throughput on this attraction. They upped that number, so there are 16 carpets on. That's really why it was built. Magic Carpets of Aladdin was really built to sort of get the overflow of the lines from Dumbo before it was moved and doubled in Fantasyland, because the lines for Dumbo used to be huge for a ride that lasts about 40 seconds. Okay, again, don't Google. Test yourself. How many audio animatronics are there in the American Adventure? An attraction that I think every American, every guest should see at least once, not for the air conditioning. How many different audio animatronic figures are there? So these are not ones you see on screen. They must be actual audio animatronic figures. And if you ever get a chance to do I think it's not called Backstage Magic anymore, but there's a behind the scenes tour in Walt Disney World. It shows you just this incredible engineering feat and exactly what it looks like, where they bring those 35 different audio animatronics up and down on the risers and create this amazing depth of field. You're either great Googlers or great guessers, or you've been on that tour before. There's 35. There's 35 incredibly complicated, including, Mark Twain that lights a cigar, Benjamin Franklin walks upstairs. Some of the most impressive audio animatronic work in the Disney parks anywhere. Moving on. Next question is, in what year? I was very hungry when I started writing this. I was trying not to make all the questions about food. What year did the original restaurant in Italy, the Originale Alfredo di Roma Ristorante, which was from the people that literally created fettuccine Alfredo, which I would kill or die for right now because I haven't eaten since Boathouse, which was not that long ago. What year did that restaurant close? What year did that restaurant close? And do you remember what it was replaced by? Sure, I have. Do you know that I've never done a live review of anything other than the Tutti Gusto wine bar, which was Becky. We had so much fun. What year did the original restaurant close? It was back in 2007, so 15 plus years ago. And the current restaurant hasn't really changed much since. God, a lot of you guys are really, really smart. 2007 is, of course, the correct answer. Is it the best Italian food on property? I probably haven't been since 2007. I would eat, if only, I mean, you know what I'm going to say, because I just need anybody to go and review that restaurant. Somebody who knows and loves Italian food. It doesn't matter. How many feet tall was the Sorcerer Mickey, may you rest in peace, hat in front of the Chinese Theater at the Disney MGM Studios? Some of you loved it. Some of you hated it. Some of you thought it was an eyesore. Don't worry, I'll get to another one soon. How many feet tall was the Sorcerer Mickey hat in front of the Chinese Theater at the Disney MGM Studios, under which was, of course, a gift shop? It literally was a pin station underneath the hat. And I remember when that hat first was built, a lot of people not very happy with the Sorcerer Mickey hat, blocking the beautiful view of the Chinese Theater. I like it better this way, but it came in at about 122 feet tall. So, wow, some of you got this completely accurately. So either you've memorized the Walt Disney World Trivia books, Volume 1 and 2, no longer available, except on places like eBay, or you're super smart, or you're a crazy nerd, or you are asking Jeeves. Whatever it is, people like Hal Cussler, Mary T. Wells, and Lori Jasper got it right. Dan Collins, you're close. Don't worry. I think this is all going to measure out as the scoring comes in later on. I have no idea how this is going to work. We'll see. How many branches are there on the Tree of Life? You cannot count them all. So I need to know how many handcrafted and designed branches are there on the Tree of Life. Now, I don't necessarily mean just the big branches. There are a lot of sort of sub branches and little itty bitty branches. How many branches are there? This is where sort of the closest guess is going to come into play. How many branches are there on the Tree of Life? When is the last time I've seen It's Tough to Be a Bug? I cannot tell you. Animal Kingdom, so far away, but good God. I think I need to go this week. I need to work on a nation scavenger hunt and go to Satuli Canteen. If only it was somebody I would meet there for lunch. There are about 8,000 branches on the Tree of Life, which is crazy when you think about it. Because we sort of think about it, this structure of the oil rig being the foundation for the Tree of Life. But 8,000 individual branches and all the leaves and the carvings of the animals. It really is an engineering marvel. All right, moving on. We're going to do 20 questions total because you yelled at me last time that I didn't write enough. Speaking of, we're going to stay in Animal Kingdom. How many different species of animals, approximately, they come and go, how many different species of animals can be found at Disney's Animal Kingdom? I mean, living, breathing, working, playing animal species are there at Disney's Animal Kingdom. I will give you a hint. It's more than 5 and less than 8,000. So somewhere in between 5 and 8,000 is the number that we are looking for. How many different species of animals are there in Disney's Animal Kingdom, not including the ones that we think are so very delicious, but there's about 300 different species. And every so often, Disney will integrate a new species into either an attraction. They will sort of bring them in backstage and eventually get them to the point where they can be brought on stage. But if you think about how many different species are, it's actually crazy. And if you've ever gotten a chance to go backstage and see just what the animal care specialists do, it is a remarkable experience. It is a very, very impressive, well-oiled machine. Speaking of things in the parks that were divisive to say the least, in what year was the Sorcerer Mickey hand and wand removed from Spaceship Earth? There's clearly a theme there. The Sorcerer Mickey hat, the Sorcerer Mickey wand. What year was it removed? Now, remember when it first was built, it had the red, glittery, blowy things that glistened in the sun that said 2000. And then after the Year of Million Dreams celebration, they took that down and in my opinion, horrible font, wrote the word Epcot on it. And at some point they took it down. They ended up actually auctioning off a lot of those little red spinny things back in about 2008 because the wand came down in 2007. Yes, Disney used to be in the business of selling off theme park memorabilia and parts of attractions and then got out of that business and then handed it off to some third-party people, good or bad, or whatever it might be. But yeah, I remember when that came down. A lot of happy people in 2007, not big fans of Sorcerer Mickey hat and or wand. So when Walt Disney World opened in October 1971, about how many motel rooms were available on property when Magic Kingdom opened in 1971. So October 1971, about how many different hotel rooms were available to stay in? I'm very impressed, by the way, with the speed and the quality and the correctness of answers. Either I'm posting the answers somewhere and people are reading them, or they're just super, super smart. If you think about it now, and I think maybe there might even be a question about this, how many rooms are available on property now versus the 5,800 that were available when it first opened? I think we forget just how many rooms there really were available when Magic Kingdom first opened in 1971. Now the number, I think the number's like 33,000, 32,000, somewhere around there. Somewhere between the Chiclets and the Chuchi Fruits. What year, speaking of resort rooms, what year did Kidani Village open? Kidani Village, which you can book with cash through MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. You do not need to be a Disney Vacation Club member in order to stay there. What year did Kidani Village open, and why can I not find anybody who will go with me late night after a WDW Radio Live on a Wednesday night who will not come and get me and take and join me in a celebratory bread service? Nobody. There's nobody. Anybody who would go. I haven't had bread service it's been years. It's literally been years. There's nothing like a good late night bread service. It opened in 2009, and we and our oh so Winnie the Pooh like physiques have never been the same, due in large part to the late night bread service. A lot of you seem to have gotten this one correct and very, very quickly. And remember, the faster you answer, the higher your score is. So the less you Google, the more your score improves. I probably should have said that at the beginning, but it doesn't matter because we're just having fun anyway. Disney Springs, the fifth theme park, originally opened as the Lake Buena Vista Shopping Village in what year? What year did the Lake Buena Vista Shopping Village open? Lucy Nunez says, I'm grabbing my keys, get your shoes on. I need to find pants first. Pants first, then shoes, and then I can go to get a little bit of bread service. What year did Disney Springs, the fifth gate, in my humble opinion, originally open as the Lake Buena Vista Shopping Village? Lake Buena Vista Village, and then it was the Walt Disney World Village, then it was Pleasure Island, which I spent many, many a year. But the idea when it opened in 1975 was that this was going to be a place that not just vacationing guests could come to, but people who were living on property. If you go back, I did a show about how the Saratoga Springs, a lot of the townhouses and the buildings were going to be part of a residential community. So there was a grocery store there. There was like a shoe repair store there because that was going to be where the locals were going to shop. The Florida Swampland, which is now home to Walt Disney World and more Swampland, was purchased by Walt Disney, and Walt Disney was meant to be sort of the corporation Walt Disney, during the mid-60s for only about how many $1 million? I just need a number, right? About how many $1 million did they purchase the bulk of the property before opening in the mid-60s when Disney first decided about 1965 to start purchasing land? How many $1 million did they spend during that initial purchase? There's been some additional acquisitions and some sales of property over the years. There was actually a big chunk of property that was sold maybe about 10 years ago, as well as certain sections of the property that they were never able to acquire. Hello, Bonnet Creek. That's why that sort of triangular piece of land is carved out there. They could not find the owner it was an overseas investor who owned it, but it was only about $5 million. Like, that's crazy, considering there's houses in Windermere that are for sale, like, not in crazy neighborhoods, that are like $2 million. You could have purchased all of that land in its swampy goodness for about $5 million. So on opening day, we only have about 5 more questions to go, but on opening day, how many people visited Walt Disney World? Now, what they anticipated and the number of people that actually visited were two very, very different things. The number of people that were anticipated was, and I don't want to say if it's higher or lower because I don't want to sort of skew the answer, but was not what they expected in terms of the number of people of it. Just like Disneyland. Disneyland had that same kind of issue in not being able to properly anticipate the number of guests, including one William Windsor, who was the very first guest who bought a ticket at Walt Disney World, who had obviously camped out for some time, bought a ticket, has a lifetime pass to Walt Disney World. But there was only about 10,000 people on opening day because the reports of how crowded it was going to be, how much traffic there was going to be, you weren't going to be able to get in, you were going to be online for hours, things weren't finished. It actually scared a lot of people away. So on that first day, it was not crazy. Yes, there were long lines to get in, but if you think about how many guests there are in the parks now, there was only about 10,000. So I asked you how many rooms there were in Walt Disney World when Magic Kingdom opened in 1971. Give me a little ballpark figure of how many rooms does Walt Disney World on property have now? This might surprise you just a little bit, unless some of you get this answer exactly correct. I'm pretty sure that did I post the answers somewhere, or am I missing something and they are being seen? But how many rooms are there available on property? From what I understand, Becky Mankin has stayed in about 71% of them because she does not stay at Value Resorts, but there's about 30,000 rooms on Walt Disney World property, give or take. that number sort of fluctuates. Things like the Swan Reserve opened recently. Um, there's actually a new resort being built, sort of an old resort that was being added on to, called the Drury on Hotel Plaza Boulevard, which this is the first time I had seen the name as I drove by tonight. But there's multiple towers. That number is going to go up. Speaking of towers, wow, lucky segue. How many towers are there on Cinderella Castle? So how many actual towers are there? You've seen Cinderella Castle countless times. You've got a gabillion pictures in your camera roll or in your camera or on your slide carousel. How many towers are there on Cinderella Castle? It's so interesting to see these numbers come in and the guesses come in. Like, we sort of know, but we don't really know. How many towers are there total on Cinderella Castle? The correct answer might surprise you, because there are 27. There's a bunch of little teeny tiny little towers, but they are towers nonetheless. I think we think about, those 5 or 6 big ones that we see from the front. When you go to the side and when you go to the back, you'll see there are actually a lot more towers than you expect. I'll have to tell the story one day when I used to give private tours of Magic Kingdom, and the woman that insisted that I was wrong when I said that there were no stones used to build Cinderella Castle. It's fine, whatever. How many acres does Epcot Center cover? Right? How big? Like, Epcot's a big park. It's not the biggest, but how many acres total does Epcot Center cover? When you spend a day walking through Epcot Center, man, you're logging the miles. The average guest walks about 9 miles a day in Walt Disney World, which sounds like, wow, this is awesome. I should be losing weight like a crazy person. But when I'm eating 4,000 calories a day, it does not necessarily balance off correctly. So how many acres do you think Epcot Center really covers? And this has remained relatively consistent over the years, even with some of the different expansions. It's about 305. It's about 305 acres in total that covers Epcot Center, which, when you think about that in terms of like overall scale, is huge. But then again, it's also not the biggest park. Like, you can fit Magic Kingdom into Epcot. You can fit Epcot easily into a place like Disney's Animal Kingdom, although I'm still thinking about bread service. Whatever. The exterior of Spaceship Earth is constructed with how many individual Alucobond triangles? Alucobond is material that allows the water and the rainwater and the dirt to literally just sort of wash off. It's sort of a self-cleaning system with a series of tracks in between that lets the water sort of run down and off it. How many individual triangles? And there's panels, but there's also individual triangles. I actually know this number by heart from writing the trivia book, and I don't know why I was like, oh, this is probably the most useless piece of factual information that I don't know. Like, I literally don't know my son's telephone number because I just punch it in on my phone, but I know that there's 11,324 Alucobond triangles in the exterior of Spaceship Earth. I swear I've kissed a girl in my life. At least once. Like, just once. So, 11,324 Alucobond. I know that, and the number's not accurate anymore. I used to know the exact number of parking spaces in Magic Kingdom. Hi, I'm Lou. I'm a nerd. Approximately how many shops and restaurants are there in Disney Springs? How many shops and restaurants total? This covers all of it, from the west side to the marketplace and everything in between. Big shops, little carts, everything in between. How many different shops and restaurants are there in Disney Springs? I'm letting enough time go by to tell you this number is going to freak you out. It's going to freak you out when you find out, because I'm seeing numbers come in like 10, 21, 70, 35. Not even close. There are 150 dining and retail locations in Disney Springs. And of course, some of you got this completely right. So maybe you wouldn't be as shocked. That number was shocking to me, because it seems like there's a lot less. But as you start to sort of go through and count them down, you're like, yeah, like even though I don't necessarily shop at Diamonds International or whatever it's called, I have to add it to the list. There's that whole little section that I don't think I've ever actually bought anything in. And then there's the boathouse. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Last question. How many attractions why did I write Disney World? It should have said Walt Disney World. Bad Lou Mongello. Bad nomenclature. How many attractions were in Walt Disney World on opening day on October 1st, 1971? Somebody wrote 2. Yes, there were 2 attractions, but we wanted how many total? The total number of attractions in Magic Kingdom on opening day. And no, I don't count things like the boathouse as a de facto attraction. But in Magic Kingdom, how many different attractions did Walt Disney World have on opening day? There was sometimes some debate as in terms of what qualifies as an attraction. Yes, things like the omnibus and the jitney cars were attractions because they did have a ticket in the coupon book. They were 8-ticket attractions, so there were a total of 26. Look at Becky coming in with 23. Way more impressive than I expected. Close, but is it close enough? That's the fun part of this game. Assuming the scores are tallied correctly, the closest guest in the fastest time, the computer is hopefully doing whatever it is supposed to do in the background. And if it did, and it looks like it did, it looks like our top 3 winners of tonight's closest guest trivia contest are Hal Cussler with a very impressive score of 926.5, Mary T. Wells at 831.2, and Matthew Woolley at 783.2. I don't know exactly how those numbers are calculated. It doesn't matter. It's just lots of fun. If you like this, Pamela Bart says, I got 100% wrong. If you like it, if you enjoy this, let me know what you think. Now, remember, it's not your score is calculated not just by the correct score, but how fast you get it. There is a team of very smart scientists and algorithmic engineers in the basement of the Walt Disney World WDW Radio headquarters, calculating these numbers very, very enthusiastically. That's how it came up. I would love feedback on this game, the Wednesday night trivia games as a whole. I don't know if I can see. I don't think I can see an entire roster of everybody, but this is at least the top 20 out of the 160 or so of you that played. So if you're in that top 20, screenshot it, share it, tag me, brag to your friends about what a nerd you and I, what nerds we are, and our love of Walt Disney World trivia. So there you go. There's our closest guest trivia game. I've got a couple of other versions and iterations of trivia that we can play here, but Bill says it's so amazing. It's so amazing how much I don't know, but I think the game is great. Derek says now I need to go buy your book on eBay. I found in my garage, I probably have 10 to 15 copies of my first and second Walt Disney World trivia books. I don't know what to do with them. I might auction them off next time we do a charity auction, assuming anybody would even want those. But these are the only, I can probably say in no uncertain terms, these are the last brand new copies of the trivia books still left in existence. They have been out of print for a number of years. My publisher has moved on to greener pastures. So these are the only trivia books left. So we'll find a creative way maybe to give a couple of trivia book prize packages. Maybe what I'll do, Becky Mencken, write this down. Maybe for our August cruise on the Disney Wish, maybe I'll bring it and put them in as part of our White Elephant exchange. It'll be really interesting and probably hurt my ego to see how many people try and offload. And he's like, oh, there's 15-year-old trivia books. Why would I want this? Half the information's out of date. It doesn't matter. They're collector's items. In my mind, they're collector's items. So, Amber Bramble says you could give one to your favorite name on the web, because Amber Bramble knows I love to say Amber Bramble. Amber Bramble also asking for Decembers. We might be able to do that. I might be able, if I get the sense that somebody actually wants the books, I can put up another one aside for December. By the way, speaking of trivia, let me know in the comments, did you play last week's Walt Disney World Trivia contest for our Guardians of the Galaxy review show with the aforementioned Becky Menken and Jeremiah Good from Laughing Place? Because I forgot to post this picture. Lou, it's been a week. It has been a week. Do you know what you're playing for? So you are playing for, I don't know if you can see this Imagineering exclusive Guardians of the Galaxy pin. This is a limited run pin. There are only 400 of these pins. According to what I'm reading on the back of the box, it is a limited edition of 400. This is the trivia prize. This is the contest. This is the contest prize for last week's trivia contest. So if you haven't entered, the questions are not that hard. Is this one hard? I don't think so. I don't remember what the question is. I need sleep. I need food. But anyway, this is what you're playing for. Not available in stores, including the Treasures of the... Why did I give this away? This is such a cool little pin. It doesn't matter. This pin can be yours if the answer is right and you are randomly chosen in the randomizer thing. So I didn't get a show up this week, so you still have time to enter. I will accept entries, and I actually accept entries until I actually do the drawing, because I don't want to be a jerk about it. I want to give everybody a chance to play. What does Lou covet? Why does that sound like a really weird, like Silence of the Lambs type of question? Like, what does Lou covet? It's I don't know why that's giving me like weird vibes. So yeah, these are actually super cool pins. I think I still have. I sold a lot of them on as part of the Great Purge, but I have like a full set. I know I bought my son a full set of them too. I love these. I think these are beautiful. Like, they're super simple. They did all the retro logos, the Epcot logo, and they did an Epcot logo, the symbol, and then the Epcot logo sort of in the font. And they came in this beautiful white long box. I got that for my son, but I still have a bunch. I might have a couple of other pens I can give away in the future. So, Lou covers bread service. I think I did do a bread service. No, I did not do a bread service. Did I do? Yes, I did. Years ago, I did a late night Sanaa dining review. Maybe we need to do one live one night. If only. ... As I look off longingly into the distance out the window, if only there was anybody that would go with me to get some bread service, and then maybe like go live from Sanaa to sort of like live review top 10 dips of the 10 dips, which are the top 10 dips in the Sanaa bread service. There's no loser in this game. Somebody write that down and let me know, because there we go. We're going to do the top 10 dips of the 10 dips out of the Sanaa. Is there 10 or 9? 9 or 10? Doesn't matter. We'll do the top 5 dips of the X amount of dips of Sanaa bread service. If I only knew what Lou covets. I don't know. That's making me weirded out. Emily says I can think of a couple of dips. Yeah, oh God, there's so many good dips. Amanda Portwine says, and the tiniest violin plays. I know. I won't even start going into just how far Animal Kingdom is, and that I would have to put on pants. So, Beatrice says, I was there yesterday in my Animal Kingdom Lodge room. I forgot to call you from Sanaa, Beatrice, who, by the way, is one of the many incredible, outstanding travel advisors from MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Don't tell Beatrice I said this, but I hear nothing about other than good things about Beatrice and what she does for her clients. And yes, I am mad at you for not calling me and or inviting me to Sanaa. Me, you, and Brian will go like cuddle around one of those little tables. Oy, the bread service is so good. I'm famished. So Matt Monica goes, we're coming out in September. We can do bread and dips. Lou says, I dated a girl who was a dip. Brandy says they can even do gluten-free bread service. Yes, Derek, there are secret menu dips. There are secret menu dips, which of course we will cover. Let's not lie. Every food is just a vehicle for the sauces. That may be the truest statement that has ever been spoken. I love me a good sauce, like a bunch of sauces, lots of little dips, a little buffet. That's sort of the way that I roll. I think that's why I like Cabanas so much. I can pick and choose and sauce to taste and do my thing. Yeah, we're all sort of thinking about bread service at this time. But that being said, I do need to I have some other stuff that I need to attend to this evening. So we're going to do, like I said, a relatively, in terms of Lou Mangello time and numbers, relatively short-ish show, but please stay tuned. I should be inserting graphic here. Wait, I think I can. Hold on. I'm going to insert graphic here. Well, that's a poor one. Gosh, where are... I was clearly not prepared tonight, Meg. Well, I can't find it. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, I'll just put it here. I will be live from MegaCon starting tomorrow. Turn on notifications because I have absolutely no predetermined time that I am going to go live, if and when tomorrow and or Friday and the nation. So stay tuned. MegaCon is a lot of fun. I love going to MegaCon. A couple last little very quick-ish reminders. That's not supposed to be the one that I wanted to show right off the bat. Well, no, that one either, but I can show that one first. It doesn't make a difference. If you are planning to come to Walt Disney World, Disney Cruise Line, anywhere on the planet, go visit Becky and Sue Passauer and Beatrice Dennis and Lori Oliveri and the so many wonderful agents over at MEI and Mousefan Travel, literally for any and all of your vacation planning needs. I want to say quick, huge thanks. I didn't get a chance to do a title card, but huge thanks to everybody who was part of the Nation family. I've actually been doing some shopping for the Platinum gifts this month, which I think you're really, really going to like. Super, super cool stuff that you cannot find sort of anywhere. But if you want to help the show get those rewards every month, I'm working on the next scavenger hunt. We do live video Zoom calls. And of course, it literally helps keep the lights on. You can go and visit WDWRadioNATION.com. What else am I forgetting? We've got our August 1st cruise on the Disney Wish. We have our very Merry Time cruise, which I cannot wait for. And next year, we have our cruise on the Disney Fantasy. All of those things being said, it does not even begin to cover all of the events that Becky and I have been talking about and those that are on the literal and mental whiteboard that she will now berate me about for the next week until I see her at Star Wars Celebration. Again, if you're going to be there, let me know. I did create an event. I'll post again in the clubhouse. If you're going to be at Star Wars Celebration, let's plan a time to get together and meet up. Also, don't forget to join the spoiler support group. This is an old image, so Loki is still on there, but if you still want to talk about things like Moon Knight, we got to talk about the She-Hulk trailer, which seems super, super weird and cool, which is just the way I like the Disney Plus stuff. Come on in there. Please don't forget, if you're not a member of the clubhouse, to come join. More importantly, invite a friend. The more, the merrier. And there's a reason why I'm all over the place. I've got some things that I'm working on that I'm going to be rolling out relatively soon. So things for the nation, things for the clubhouse, and some other stuff as well. More importantly, as the shirt says, which, by the way, you can get at T+. I think there's a sale going on this weekend. I think there's a $14 sale. If you go to WDWRadio.com/shirts, you can get WDW Radio logo shirts. You can get to choose the good shirts. I don't even care if you buy a shirt or not. I just want you to choose the good. I want you to be the good for other people. Now more than ever, we need that type of contagious positivity. But I think if you choose the good and you spread that to others, the world will become a better place. One day, one person, one kind act at a time. So I hope that this is your best week ever. I hope to see you over the weekend at MegaCon, either literally at MegaCon or here. It's still going to be the box here live over the weekend. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the trivia tonight. If you did, let me know in the comments over in the clubhouse. I'm always open to suggestions. I love you. I appreciate you. Good night.